If you're in search of a sleek and functional bumper to complement the front end of your 2021 or newer F-150, excluding the Raptor models, then you should be checking out the Barricade Extreme HD front bumper. Now, this will be a great addition to your truck if you need tough protection, additional clearance, and lighting options for wherever you're taking your truck, whether that be a dirt road, the work site, or just day-to-day driving. Now, this bumper will also be a great pick if you just want to give the front end of your F-150 a facelift and add some more robust and off-road styling, especially if you're looking to customize it by adding accessory lighting. This front bumper will feature a boxy build with high clearance ends that give the front end of the truck a premium appearance. Now, on each end, you'll also see cutouts for fog lights and a cutout right in the middle for a light bar with the additional protection of the crossbars right on the front there. Now, speaking of the design, the bumper will also include style cutouts and outer mesh panels, which will just assist that much more in the sporty off-road look. This will be made of a 5/32" steel plate construction, being tough and able to take whatever's thrown at it, especially in conjunction with the nice textured black powder coat finish on top. Now, the bumper will accommodate for factory features as well, including the sensor cutouts, while being completely bolt-on for a straightforward install. Now, I would like to mention that this will require the use of the Barricade Adaptive Cruise Control relocation bracket if your F-150 is equipped, but you can find that right here on our site, making it very easy. When it comes to the price, this will come in at roughly $1,100, which is actually a little bit more on the cost-effective side when it comes to a full-width front bumper. Now, I think what stands out is the fact that this offers a great fit when it's installed. It matches up really good with the body lines on the truck and will offer a premium appearance with the high clearance ends and the compact design, and it's going to offer a lot of options when it comes to the lighting. Now, other more budget-friendly choices will usually offer less than this, being add-ons to the factory bumper or stubby options. Now, on the other hand, more expensive choices will usually come with a couple more bells and whistles like recovery points, skid plates, or even lighting included in the kit. Now, I think if you don't necessarily need all of that extra utility as far as the trail and recovery is concerned, you just want a good-looking and functional bumper that you can customize, then this is it. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some basic hand tools. At this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install and what that looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, a 10, 17, and 19 millimeter wrench, a clip remover tool, an extension, a swivel adapter, a 7, 17, 18, and 21 millimeter socket, the Allen key that's included in the kit, a pair of diagonal cutters or scissors, and a pry tool. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing a front bumper on our F-150, so let's get started. Now, to remove our front bumper, we have a harness that's over top of our passenger side frame rail that we need to disconnect, as well as 3 nuts on each frame rail that we need to remove to pull our bumper off. Now, coming under our front bumper, we can disconnect our wire harness. Now we can pull up on the gray tab and then pull on both sides to separate them. So now with our wire harness disconnected, we can come up to our frame rail where we have 1 nut on the inside and 2 nuts on the outside. Now this is going to be the same on both sides. So we'll need a 21 millimeter socket with a swivel adapter to get these 3 nuts off. Now we're on the outside of the passenger side frame rail. So up by that blue sticker to the right, there's our top nut, and then straight down below it is our bottom nut that we need to remove. Now, it's going to be very hard to see on camera with getting a tool in there, so we'll show you this now, and then we can take those off with that same 21 millimeter socket and swivel adapter. Now we can get in there with our 21 millimeter socket. For our top bolt, we're going to leave it threaded on, just a couple threads to hold it in place while we get the other side out, and then we can remove our bumper. And now we can do that same thing on the other side. So now with only one nut, a couple threads on each side, now's a good time to grab yourself a buddy or a set of jack stands to help support the weight of the bumper while you remove those last nuts, and then we can pull our bumper off. Next, we can come to our driver's side fender well, and we have two 7mm screws that we have to remove to pop off our lower trim panel so that we can remove our bumper. So we'll grab a 7mm socket to take these out. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Now we can remove our lower trim piece. So we're gonna pull it from our fender well to pop it out of the clips, and then do the same on the other side, and then fully remove it. So now we can go back underneath the truck to remove our two last nuts that are holding our bumper on. You're gonna wanna do this while you have the support of a friend on the other side holding it so it doesn't fall forward, or you can use jack stands. So now with our two remaining nuts removed, you can grab your buddy to help you lift the bumper off the truck. So now with our stock bumper removed, there's a couple things we have to uninstall from our bumper to transfer to our new one. So the first thing is gonna be the parking sensors. So we have two right behind the inner side of these brackets, and then two right below our fog lights on both sides. So we'll get in there, pop our sensors out, and then we can work on removing our wire harness. So now to remove our sensor, we have tabs on the top and the bottom that we can pull back a little bit with our fingers. And we'll be able just to pop our sensor out. And then we can press on the white tab on our harness to remove our sensor. So now to remove the parking sensor below our fog light here, I'm reaching in from the edge of the bumper. There's a hole where you can get your hand through. So then we'll just do that same thing where we pry up and down on our tabs. And our parking sensor will come right out. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. Next, we can pop out all of the clips that are holding our wire harness in place. We have 4 here across the top, and then we have 2 that are slightly hidden right behind these brackets. So we'll grab a clip remover tool to pop all these out. So now coming to the side here, we have our 2 harnesses that we need to disconnect, as well as a clip here and a clip here, and this one broke on ours. So we'll get a clip remover tool for these 2, and then on the top here, we can just press this black tab to pop that off, and press this black tab to pop our bottom one off. And then we'll grab our clip remover tool to pop that guy off. And we'll do the same thing on the other corner. So now with our clips removed, we can feed our wire harness from the outside of our bumper to the inside. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side to completely remove our harness. So now we've got the bumper flipped upside down. So this is actually the driver's side here. We need to pop off this cover. So we'll get a trim remover tool. And then that'll expose the last harness that we have to remove. So there's a black tab on the back. Just like those other ones, you're gonna push down right there, and then you can pop it off, and that's the last thing holding our wire harness into the bumper. So now we can start to install our parking sensors into our new bumper. Now we have 6 holes on our bumper, and we only have 4 parking sensors. So we have these caps that are gonna be going on our outermost holes. And then for the ones with the parking sensor, we're gonna be putting the parking sensor into the slot and then using this rubber spacer, or foam spacer, and then this cap on the back side. So now we can take our parking sensor. We have this little clear cover on it that we need to pop off. And then in place of that, we're gonna be using our foam washer. Then we can stick that down into place. And then we'll take our foam spacer with our cap. And we'll pop that on. And that'll lock our sensor into place. And then on our outer edge here, we're going to be installing our cap. This will just push straight in. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So next we can install our license plate bracket. Now this is going to go right over these square holes down here. And through the front, we're going to be putting our Allen head screw with a washer. And on the back side, we'll put another washer and our 10mm nut. So now we can take our bolt with our washer and put it through our hole. And then on the back side, we'll grab another washer and our 10mm nut and thread that on. And then on the other side, we'll do that same thing. And then we'll grab the Allen wrench that was included in our kit, as well as a 10mm wrench to tighten these down. And then once we have both of our bolts tightened down, we can install our plastic clips that our license plate will screw into. So these will just pop right in. Next, we can reinstall our wire harness. So the main connector here is going to go towards the passenger side, and then we can plug in all of our parking sensors. So now, since we won't be running our factory fog lights with this bumper, and we have a lot of excess harness, we're going to tuck it up through this gap, up through here, so that's nice and out of the way. It won't get loose and come down and hit anything. So we can slide that up through here. And then you can also use a trim remover tool to get up into that gap to feed it the rest of the way over. And then now with our harness nice and tucked, we can do the same thing on the other side and then come back down into the middle with some zip ties to clean up our harness. Now this kit does include a bunch of zip ties to use to clean up your harness. So what we're going to do is, since we're not mounting a light bar, we're going to use these brackets to tie our harness to keep it cleaned up behind the grill area here. And then we can come in on the sides and bunch up our harness. So now next up, we're going to cut all the excess off of our zip ties. You can do this using a pair of scissors, or I'm going to be using diagonal cutters to chop these off. Next, we can install our brackets onto our frame. Now on the back side here, these are going to be labeled with a D or a P for driver or passenger. So we'll get that mounted up here. And then from the front, we're going to be going in with our bolt and a washer. And then on the back side, we'll get another washer and our locking nut. And then once we have those in place, we can use a 19 or 18mm socket on our bolt side and a 19mm wrench on our nut side. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. So now we're ready to install our bumper onto the truck. Now we have these 3 mounting holes in our bracket that'll line up to our 3 mounting holes on each side of the bumper. And with that, we'll be putting the smaller of our 2 size bolts with a locking washer and flat washer through this way. And then on the other side, we'll be putting another flat washer and our nut. So now would be a good time to grab yourself a buddy to help you lift it up, and you can get 1 piece of hardware started on each side. And then you can come back, install all your hardware, tighten everything down, and we can wrap up this install. So now once you have your buddy, you can lift the bumper up onto the truck and start getting your hardware through. Now through the bracket, we're gonna be putting the bolt from the inside going to the outside so we can get our nuts on the outside, because it'll be a lot easier to get a wrench in there than a ratchet. So now we can tighten down our 3 bolts that we installed using a 17mm socket and a 17mm wrench on our nut side. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Now we can come back to the top of our passenger side frame rail and reconnect our harness. So we'll just slide it in nice and tight, and then we can fold down our gray tab to lock that into place. So now coming out from under the car, we can reinstall our lower trim piece. And then we can go back around to the sides and reinstall our 2 7mm screws per side. And now our last step is to reinstall our 2 7mm screws in the front side of our fender well. And then we'll tighten those down using a 7mm socket. And now we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Barricade Extreme HD front bumper for your 2021 and newer F-150s, excluding the Raptor. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.